Hello, and welcome back to After the Snap. It's me, your host, Tasha Pierce, and we're going to be talking today about the first half of the 4th season of The Boys. This one is causing a whole lot of ish out here in the pop culture zeitgeist that I'm not even understanding why we are beefing about The Boys. It's like didn't we know what The Boys was? This is the 4th season of The Boys. How many seasons of The Boys do we need for us to truly know what The Boys is? It hasn't changed. But that's me getting ahead of myself and showing my hand real quickly. I'm gonna grab comments, the hellos. Hey, Dreamwalker. Hey, Wingrace. And hello, Justin. Good to see you guys. Glad to have you here. Dreamwalker starts it off. He says, I haven't kept up with any of the media surrounding the show. I just watched the show. You know, when you're trying to do, and I guess Wingrace could attest to this. When you're trying to do what we're doing, it's almost like you run into it. You have to see it. And I'm confused. And Dreamwalker say he can see conservatives being bothered by it, but I am of the belief that they are making fun of every damn body. They're making fun of, that the conservatives are the ones who are making the most noise about it. But we're all being, each and every one of us. That is the point of the show. It is the point of the show is to show us all the worst image of ourselves and see, look, that's what y'all look like. This is how you look sitting out here. We're going to talk about it. Yeah, I agree with that, Wingrace. Even if you don't see it, I keep forgetting the camera's not over there. Even if you don't see it yourself, there is always somebody who's going to come to your comment section and be like, oh, but you're not supposed to be watching this or enjoying it because of this. And then it's some crazy lame reason why nobody should like this show. The show is what it is. I don't know any other way to put it. And Justin agrees. He's like, yeah, the boys they go after everybody. And I'm glad we all understand that because we're all on the same page. Please do not come in here with I don't mind an alternate talking point. I don't mind an alternate opinion. What we're not going to do is beat up these actors and actresses. We're not going to beat up the showrunner. We're just going to say that we don't like the direction in which this season is going. And if you've got a valid reason for that, that's great. If your reason is invalid, then I'm probably gonna let you know. It's not gonna be cute or funny. I don't mince words too often. So yeah, that is where we are right now. And I know a lot of people are like, well, Tasha, why did you start your stream off with the bad news? I have to acknowledge it. That it's the elephant in the room. Okay. All right. So we got that out the way. Let's talk about The Boys season 4 and what we've thought of these first 4 episodes. We know we got 8 episodes coming. We're halfway through. And ooh, Brian, how are you today? Brian says, based on the trailer, if anyone watched it, they put those trailers out for a reason. It was clear what this season was about. And the thing is, Brian, I appreciate that comment. The thing is, it's exactly what was shown in the trailer, and we're still getting we're getting the satire, we're getting the we're gonna point at each other and talk about our flaws, but we're also getting a really good story. So if people could put aside the culture wars and get into the story and what story Eric Kripke and company are trying to tell, then they might realize that they're not the butt of the joke. The only people who I think are the butts of the joke are the people who had no clue that Homelander was the villain. I don't know what series they had been watching this entire time. Homelander is and always has been the villain. So that's one part. And then the second thing is this whole thing about Frenchie and his sexuality. We're going to talk about that a little bit more as we move through. But anybody who has watched the first 3 seasons of this show knows these characters by now. We know what they're capable of. We know what their mindset is. We know what their motivations are. Most of them. Some of them some of the newer characters, we're not quite sure which way they're leaning, but the main characters, we know what their motivations are. And in this season, what it looks like we're getting is some resolution on all of their pasts. Everybody is working through some type of past trauma. Every single character of The Boys, and it seems the 7 or the people who work for Vought, they are also dealing with their past sins or just past trauma. But we'll talk about that more. Dreamwalker says, I've been pleased with the story this far. Other than Starlight grabbing the idiot ball for a scene and then laughing my ass off. The whole premise of The Boys season 1 is, what if Superman was really a villain? How could someone not know that he was a villain after he destroyed that airplane? That was the absolute turning point in season 1. You freaking destroyed an airplane full of people, just destroyed it. That wasn't villainous. How about this though? The people that we are calling the heroes, the boys, they're not heroic either. They are almost equally as flawed as the 7. However, they feel like they are doing what is legitimately necessary to quell a problem, and the problem is Supes. These super heroes, super people, they might as well be billionaires. They are, for lack of a better word, they are the power that corrupts absolutely. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. The most powerful person in the 7 so far is Homelander. And if Homelander is the most powerful person, his power is unchecked. If his power is unchecked, it can't do anything but become corrupt. That's the rules we've been living by. I didn't make these rules. I only live by them. It's given this world. I didn't make it. Dreamwalker says, I like how Ryan was sad about killing someone, and Homelander thought he was sad about not having solo screen time. It's almost like we're getting a nature versus nurture situation with Homelander with Homelander and his son, because Ryan could technically, he could be exactly like his father. Hey Marge, glad you stopped by, girl. I know you ain't watching this. But he could be just like his father, but he was nurtured as a youngster, whereas we've seen in this latest episode, Homelander didn't get that nurturing. He was programmed almost to love, so he doesn't know what natural love feels like, and he doesn't know what it feels like to be just doted upon as a child. So you could say that might make him a little jealous of his son, because I'm seeing jealousy springing out. And it's more than just, he's got this loving demeanor. It's more than that. It's he could grow up to be as powerful as I am, and I am aging. There will come a time when the father or the son becomes stronger than the father. That, I think, is part of Homelander's problem. But the other part is he was programmed to have love, to feel love, to need love, and he was hardly ever given it. So he is on a constant quest for love, and he's not getting it. He doesn't want to be a slave to love, but he also isn't getting the love that he feels like he needs. Dreamwalker said, I don't know if you have a script or you're just jumping around, but do you think the woman who acted as Homelander's mom will be saved from that room? I don't think she will. However, he couldn't bring himself to kill her because she was his mom. And she told him, we made you like this. You are our creation. We made you like this. And he wasn't supposed to be able to hurt them. Now, he hurt the ones that was really, really awful to him as a child, but he couldn't kill her. So I think she will, unless somebody comes in and realizes that everybody was put in that room, I think she's going to just starve to death in there, but he couldn't bring himself to harm her. And I think that we see a little bit of that in his face in that elevator. It looks like joy. It looks like elation. It looks like I got one up on them. But then there's also this thing where he couldn't finish the job with that lady. And I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. Let's get some. We're going to go with the summary for The Boys season 4. The world is on the brink. Victoria Newman is closer than ever to the Oval Office and under the muscly thumb of Homelander, who is consolidating his power. Butcher, cut myself off, with only months to live, has lost Becca's son, and the rest of the boys are fed up with his lies. And with the stakes higher than ever, they have to find a way to work together and save the world before it's too late. That is where we are in season 4 of The Boys. Okay. And if we want to go episode by episode and what that is about, I have to open up my notes here. Episode by episode, because I can't see that. Y'all know, even with the glasses. Thank you, Dreamwalker. Even with the glasses, I can't see that. Department of Dirty Tricks was our first episode. The summary of that episode was calling all patriots, be at the courthouse tomorrow for Homelander's verdict, and be ready. If the corrupt justice system wants to F around, they're going to find out. Hashtag home free. That was our first episode. So we're going to keeping it short and sweet. What are your short and sweet thoughts of the first episode of The Boys, Department of Dirty Tricks? Do you have a quick and dirty? Doesn't, I guess it don't have to be dirty. Do you have your quick thoughts on that? Let me see. Justice says, I believe the show is better than the comics in a lot of ways, but I like the comics also. But they improved the characters a lot in the overall story, so I'm enjoying it a lot. The one thing about the comics, and I haven't read the Boys comics. I wasn't into the Boys comics. But one thing about comic books is that they can give you a great story, and but it's in your voice because you're reading this story. Your interpretation of what is being said or whatever, you will assign your own thoughts to that because you're reading it. When we're watching it on the screen, we're getting the interpretation of these actors. Ooh, yeah. I like that too, Brian. And we're going to get some more to Starlight because even she is stepping outside of herself. Of course, given what happened in the last episode and how far, what's her name? Gosh, can't think of that lady's name. Firecracker. How far Firecracker took things. She took things to the extreme. She didn't have to go as far as she did, as far as telling that lady's business and about her abortion and all of that. She didn't have to do that. But also, Starlighter didn't have to stoop to her level. And that is an example of when you're trying to do the right thing and you allow yourself to be egged on by the other side, no matter which side you're sitting on, you have become Starlighter. Whether you are conservative, liberal, something in between, or something on either extreme, once you let your quote unquote opponents, however you want to look at it, once you let that person get in your head, you have lost the battle. And I'm not saying they're going to lose this year. Who knows what's going to happen? But what I do know is that Starlighter probably should not have engaged with Firecracker, especially with the cameras rolling. Okay, did they explain when they got a new Noir? That kind of threw me off in episode 1. It was like you can't just kill Black Noir without any reason for it and then not have something, to replace him with. And I honestly think that that he is, it appears that he's an actor, but it also appears that he's super powered. So he's just been waiting in the wings as a replacement for Noir because we never see Noir's face and we never hear his voice. So anybody could be Black Noir. As far as we know, there was 10 Black Noirs in the first 3 seasons. We just don't know it because we didn't see it. And we never saw his face until season 3. I think Black Noir, like I said, I think that guy is a superpowered individual, an actor but he wasn't ready to take a role where he doesn't say anything. He's not the strong silent type. We'll put it like that. Honestly, mocking all sides. Yeah. And I know there are people who will disagree with me. I see, and it's because I don't assign myself with being conservative, and I really don't fit in a liberal box either. I think on my own. You can call that independent, you can call that what you want, but I lean progressive. So there are people who will be like, "Oh, I knew it. She was progressive," but I do lean progressive. um, Starlight's Starlight's actions in 4-4, she became no better than the people that she is attempting to, we're gonna say, usurp, because they are already in power and she wants to usurp that power, but you can't do it by acting and behaving in the same way that they do. You just can't. I am going to share my screen. I don't have the rights of, I didn't make this a presentation because I suck. but um, we do still have some visuals here. So we're going to do this and this. Let's talk about Butcher. Well, before we talk about Butcher, let's go into our chapters. The corruption of power is our first chapter for The Boys season 4. And the corruption of power is simply that, first and foremost, we know that a lot of that conversation is going to be about Homelander. Point blank, period. Homelander is the epitome of power in this show. That we also can't ignore Butcher. Look over here. I keep forgetting the camera's not there. It's right here. Butcher. Butcher has been corrupted by power in a different way. The different way that he has been corrupted, it has actually caused him to have cancer. He's sick. In fact, he's not just sick, he's dying. Now, in this in the first episode, upon seeing Butcher again, we meet the character being played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Somebody put in the comments his name because I've forgotten what his name is. And this is a character from Butcher's past. And Butcher feels like, finally, somebody who understands me and thinks like me. I can talk to you and you are understanding, the plight, what I have to go through right now, what I'm trying to deal with as far as Homelander, as far as trying to save Ryan, as far as trying to get back into good graces with the boys and all of those things. And he wants to make sure that Ryan will be okay after he passes, because he's preparing for his own death. That is the definition of corruption of power. Butcher is being corrupted by cancer, whereas Homelander is just power hungry. We also saw Newman, and I don't know if she always was this powerful, or was there something that she did between Gen V and season 4 of The Boys that kind of like made her OP the way she is now. Because we knew that she could pop your head. We knew that. We knew that she could manipulate blood. We learned that in Gen V. But what I didn't know is that she's impervious to even a gunshot wound. Huey threw the acid on her, did nothing. Butch came up and shot her in the head, did nothing. So what in the world is Newman now? And she's pretty much going to become vice president, or could become vice president of the United States. What would that mean for the country if a person with that much power literally cannot be killed? What if she decided that she was going to be the president forever? What if she decided that, and as soon as I've stopped being the president, I'm going to pass it down to my daughter, Zoe Newman, who we'll talk about in a minute? How do you rein in that kind of power? Please tell me. And does it appear to you that Homelander is looking to, and I know this is going to make some people crawl. Homelander looks like he's preparing for a coup. And he's going to use Newman to help him do it. BL 2024. How you doing? You say she handled her ex BFF with super strength well. A lot of soups have some level of strength and durability. So meaning Newman has strong durability. Yeah, she definitely does. I just didn't see it coming. I did not see that coming. And it's okay because, surprise, surprise, it's a series and they can do whatever the hell they want with their characters in that series. What about Sister Sage, Firecracker? Two more of our new characters this season. How do we feel about them, and what do you think their motivations, besides what they are showing us on screen, which could very well be their motivations? That could very well be them being transparent, but it could also be a cover for something else. So what do we think Firecracker's real motivation is? Or do we think that she's presenting herself 100% transparently? And then also Sister Sage, what is her end game in all of this? Let me see. Dreamwalker said, I just watched Gen V and saw Marie survived Homelander's blast. She did. Yeah, she was extra OP too. I wonder if that foretold Newman's durability. It should have. Now that I think about it, it should have. I feel that Sage, and he doesn't want to say sister in front of her name because she doesn't like that, is going to find a way to save Butcher from the brain tumor. Do you think she wants to do that? I'm not saying that she doesn't. I'm asking a legitimate question. Justice says, I think there is something up with her being that OP that will play out the rest of the season. I'm going to keep my eye on it. We got 4 episodes. Let's keep our eye on that situation. Also, for our last 4 episodes, do you guys want to do that one episode by episode, or do you want to just wait until the season is over and let's talk about it at the end? Drop that in the comments as well. BL 2024, Sage something deeper. Firecracker, just a fangirl. So she truly is, number one, one of her big motivations is just to get back at Starlighter. So we know that's part of what she deals with. And you're saying that she's really who she says she is beyond that. It looks to me like she's not, though. It looks like she don't believe her own hype. She's talking this stuff. She's playing a character and she's doing it for attention. That's the way it looks to me. Now, it could be that I'm looking at this wrong, that she really does believe everything that she's sitting there saying. But some of that stuff, especially after what happened in episode 4, where she was outed for being a little bit of a pedo. And I don't want to say the whole word because that word will get me in trouble. Wingrace. I mean, was that Wingrace? Wingrace. Good comment, because you're taking me to where I want to go. Is it really a brain tumor, though? But now back to Sage before we get to Butcher and his brain tumor. Sage is up to something else, and all giving herself a frontal lobotomy aside, Sage is not looking, and she doesn't want to play in this group. So if she is as smart as she says she is, if the world believes that she's the smartest person alive, she had already thought this situation all the way through to its most logical conclusion. And I mean, to the point where eventually Homelander is going to have to come and ask for my help. And when he does, or if he does, I'm going to enact these plans to further whatever her agenda is. We just don't know what her agenda truly is yet. But I do not think that she's playing nice with Homelander because she wants to. In fact, we saw in the first episode, she really didn't want to, especially she didn't want to become part of the Seven, but she really didn't want to. But this is also, if she's playing the long game, she had to say those things. Okay, the brain tumor. We're going to talk about that real quick. The brain tumor has me thinking too, Win Grace. And the reason why it has me thinking like that is because she, well, not she, he, you could see it moving through his vein. Whatever was going on with Butcher, it's visible. It almost makes me think of when a person gets the Venom symbiote. And if you guys are MCU heads, or if you're here, I'm pretty sure you know who Venom is. Sometimes I have to talk down to people because not talk down to them, but spell it out to them. But I think you guys know who Venom is, and I think that we might be seeing the boys equivalent to Venom. Let me know if you are getting Venom vibes off of what's going on with Butcher. And then there's the Jeffrey Dean Morgan character, who nobody has put the name of that character in the chat yet. I'm gonna have to look the doggone name up. Y'all gonna make me do some work. That Jeffrey Dean Morgan character, it is surprising to me that nobody else has interacted with this character. Is this character another figment of Butcher's imagination? Is this a manifestation of one of his deepest regrets? Because in the series, so far, what they've told us about this character is that Butcher saved him in some operation that they had both been in. Is it possible that Butcher didn't save him? That this is a person from Butcher's past who is no longer with us. He's gone. He's deceased. And Butcher is just thinking that he's interacting with this guy. And this guy is the actual worst conscience that Butcher could have, because this person, he seems like he's trying to push Butcher into a position or into a situation where he has to hurt Ryan, and that's something Butcher doesn't want to do. And he is Butcher with the training wheels off. And if the regular Butcher is training wheels on, this guy is bad news, because it's like he's him with no brakes. Let me know if y'all get that vibe too. Dreamwalker says, I don't know if she wants to right now, but somehow the plot threads will come together and she will. I'm going to say she will betray the Seven. Are we talking about Sage here? Dreamwalker said, I said it on Discord, but I think Sage has another power that she's hiding because she wants people to underestimate her. And even if you underestimate the smartest person in the world, it's like Reed Richards. If you've got freaking Reed Richards, but Reed Richards does have other powers. So that could be where we're going. Smartest person in the world is quote unquote Reed Richards. Does Reed Richards have an alternate power? Sure. He's also, he stretches and so it's possible that she could have a second hidden power as well. Firecracker is a fangirl of Homelander. Yeah, because she was basically throwing the panties at she was throwing the panties at Homelander. She made sure he understood exactly what she was talking about. Just in case you thought I was talking about I'll do anything for you within reason. No, baby, I'll do anything. I will do anything. I will I'll change your life and you'll change mine. Justice says episode by episode for me, but a total breakdown at the end is fire also, or fine also. I'm thinking episode by episode for these last 4 because it kind of, I see there's an interest, and I'm very happy. So that now I feel like we could talk about it week by week, so it's not this big of a chunk to discuss. Thank you for letting me know that, Justin. Are we going to find another 15-year-old boy with firecracker before the end of this season, or is that plot thread over and done with? Um, how old is Ryan? I hate to I hate to say that, because if she can't get Homelander, would she seduce his son? And how disgusting would that be? I hate that I even thought of that, but it's a possibility. It's a possibility. I'm thinking the Ryan thing. Who does she remind you of? Joe Kessler, that's his name. Thank you, BL 2024. Could not think of his name. Yeah, Joe Kessler. He did. Joe Kessler is not talking to Homelander, or at least I don't think he is. I could be wrong, and we'll talk about it when and if I am. Dreamwalker said he hadn't even noticed no one else interacted with him. Yeah, it's really strange. Yeah. Okay, Jeffrey D. Morgan, Joe Kessler, I appreciate it. I was saying she will in reference to saving Butcher from the tumor. Oh, okay. Even if the tumor's giving Butcher powers, it's probably still killing him. But I'm wondering again, just like when Grace asked, is it a tumor? Is it something else? Because one of the things that was disclosed is that when Butcher started getting sick from taking Temp V, that he actually took more V. And that V did something. He don't think it did anything, but that V obviously did something, because once we got when he got into that fight in that trailer with Ezekiel, and then he blinked out and came to covered in blood, and Ezekiel splattered all over the place. Something did that. He doesn't know what happened. And well, Butcher doesn't know. Butcher doesn't know what happened. So this is why I think there is another entity inhabiting Butcher, or his personality has been split in some way, and the worst part of him has his own body, and that is who is doing all of the gory stuff. And I mean, again, it makes me think about Venom, because one of the things about Eddie Brock is Eddie Brock does not want to be eating people's heads. He don't want to be doing all this. This is Venom. Venom wants to eat brains. Venom and Venom does. Eddie Brock might not 100% know what's been happening while he has been Venom, but Venom, now that they're working together a bit more, he knows. But Venom could be done a whole lot of stuff without Eddie Brock knowing. And I think that's where we are with Butcher, where his alternate being, maybe even like Moon Knight. Yes. So you got these separate entities living inside one body, and when one entity kind of passes out or falls asleep, the other entity takes over. That is more like what I'm talking about. More like Moon Knight. That is an interesting theory. That is a good one. Oh, thank you. Maybe Butcher is a true soup and does truly know it. Does not truly know it. I got you. Does not know he is. I think he is. I think he has become a soup. You know who else I think is a soup? Me and Dreamwalker were discussing it, and now kind of like that's who I spitball stuff to in the Discord. By the way, the Discord link is in the description of this here video, where you can you'll find my link tree where you can find the Discord and all the other ways that you can catch up with good old Tosh when we're not talking about sci-fi or superheroes or whatever we talk about, because we talk a lot. So yeah, I was spitballing in the Discord that another person who could potentially be a soup, and I think that person is a soup and does know it, is Huey's mom, but we'll get there. Dreamwalker says Ryan is 12 in the show, but he looks more 13, 14. But yeah, if she's into Homelander, you never know. That's sick. But this is the boys we talking about, and they could very well be going in a very, very bad direction with her. Yeah, 2024. That's what I was just saying. Butch said Ryan was 12, and that's even more gross if that is where she's going. If she does that, I'm through with that woman. I will go through the TV and punch her in the face myself, because one thing I don't play is you diddling with them kids. Don't be diddling with the children. I see you doubled that, so I won't read that second one. Dreamwalker says Homelander murdering Firecracker for being close to Ryan would be a good bookend with the reason he claimed he murdered that guy at the end of last season. Because crazy as it sounds, going back to Homelander needing love and wanting love, the closest thing that Homelander knows to love is how he feels about Ryan. Even though I still think he's jealous of Ryan and he's going to see Ryan as a threat to his own mortality, he loves Ryan and he will do whatever it needs to be done to protect Ryan. But do you think he would think it was a good thing that Ryan would? I mean, this is a horrible hypothetical, but there are some parents and adults who think that young boys should have their first sexual experience with somebody far more mature and also at a very young age. That makes them, oh, that's a man. No, you are basically confusing the hell out of this child if this child is exposed to sexuality too early, too soon. Maybe Homelander just suspects something and she's not really doing anything wrong. Well, then that makes it a little bit different, because I really and truly don't think Homelander would care about that. I think Homelander would think he was doing a great job as a father if his 12-year-old son had sex with Firecracker. I really and truly do. And that's horrible. I hate that my mouth even said those words, but I do believe that. Hey, Lysandra, good to see you. Glad to see you. Stormfront's actress is Jewish, and Firecracker's actress is a lesbian, and she's playing the hell out of this role as a transphobic, homophobic, right-wing extremist, and a conspiracy. You throw the conspiracy theory stuff in there too, and she is like Marjorie Taylor Greene on steroids. That is Firecracker. The Firecracker don't have hands. I need to see what else she can do, because the way Starlight got in that ass, Firecracker don't have no hands. Only thing she got coming out of her hands is them sparkles. She remind me of Jubilee. But I think Jubilee is even more useful than what Firecracker is as far as really fighting. Firecracker is just, somebody who the public can get behind. I got to keep my strength up. Y'all know I have diabetes, so if you see me drinking orange juice, you already know it's a bad sugar day. Dreamwalker says, yeah, Homelander is definitely jealous. He didn't like all the film directors talking about covering up wrinkles in the 7. He also didn't like the fact that his son was going to do that save by himself. He wanted to be there. He wanted to feel like he had a part in Ryan's first save. Now, I think it's jealousy. It could also be a father-son moment, but I didn't read it like that. And if you saw it that way, please let me know, because yeah, that was weird. Dreamwalker liked the non-binary character in Gen V, Jordan. Never seen a character handled that way before. I liked it too, because there's a precedent for this person being non-binary. This person can be male or female. And I feel like any character that can morph like that, and I say it morph for a reason. Whoa, you got to be kidding me, BL 2024. Now you're gonna make me go look this lady's name up. What is that lady's name? Please tell me it's not MTG for real. No, her name is Valerie Curry. Okay, Valerie Curry. I guess I had the list right here. All this time I was asking y'all to tell me who that person was, who what the character's name was, and I had the freaking list open right here. Yeah, I'm a bright. Told y'all, Misty Tucker Gray instead of Marjorie Taylor Greene. And then there was the what is the name? Splinter. That had to. Oh, I'm so sorry. The orange juice. I apologize. Please don't get mad. Don't fight me. Splinter, that was the weirdest character, and he had the most disgusting scene that I think I don't know that I was ready. I've seen a whole lot of stuff. Oh, that's a civilian name. Oh, see, I didn't know that was her civilian name. So she is MTG. Okay. Oh gosh, I gotta write that down so I remember. You know, y'all see, I have problems with names. But I didn't forget Splinter here, because we saw Splinter basically doing the whole circle jerk. That's ridiculous what we saw. And my question is, when they were doing that, could each one of them feel, did he have both all of the sensation? You know, does each one of those characters, or I guess the prime one would. So basically, if the prime one is having sexual act done on him, the splinters might be able to feel that as well, simply because once the prime went down dead, all the rest of them went down dead. Y'all notice that? I know that's crazy, but that was a disgusting part. Let's talk about Zoe. I do remember her name, Zoe Newman. Of course we knew that she took human centipeding himself. So gross. I had to look away every time. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. And yet here I am still watching. Zoe Newman. She's got these tentacles that come out of her mouth, and she can use it to kill people. She's super powered. Yes, my son still watched it. We have not watched an episode together yet because of our schedules, the way he works, and I'm just watching it as soon as it comes out. But he has to wait until the days that he's off. And yeah, I usually have already seen the episode, and I'll know whether or not I want to watch that episode with him. Because and my son is of age. I'm not letting my son is 30, damn near 30. So I'm letting he watches it on his own, but we do converse about the episode. And I noticed the last time that he and I talked about the last episode 4, he said, "Mama, are you talking about these? Are you doing live streams about this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I think he's a bit concerned for the things that are coming out of his mother's mouth. He doesn't know that far worse has come in and gone out of this mouth. You get what I'm saying? Oh, but Zoe, yeah, we see how very protective Newman is of her daughter, and how well trained her daughter is in using those powers. And yeah. Then there's another mother. His mama, Huey's mama. How do you abandon your child when he's 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old, and then just show back up and be like, "Well, I was a little depressed. You stayed gone his entire life. 2 whole decades have passed. You don't get to say sorry for that. Excuse me. One thing's for sure and two things for certain. My son don't listen to this show. He might shock me one day. Nothing is worse than what comes out of Zoe's mouth. Exactly. Zoe, she should have kept that in. Ugh, disgusting. Huey's mama shows back up at just the right time. Dad has had a stroke. Mom, for whatever reason that was given, and it's not a valid reason, and I don't believe it. For whatever reason, Dad has signed over power of attorney to Huey's mama, who hasn't been around for 20 years, unless, hear me out now, this is just a theory, hear me out, unless she has a power, and that power is invisibility. If his mama is a soup and she can become invisible, she may have been there and Huey just didn't know it. But Dad knew it because Dad would know that she's a soup. Is anybody else getting soup vibes off of her? Something about her makes me feel like she has a closer connection to Vought. Because she said she was like Vought has that whole multi-level marketing division, and she works in the multi-level marketing in adventure that they have going on. Venture, I said adventure, venture that they have going on. That's what she says. But what if she works for Vought in a more official capacity? Or what if she has already been victimized by Vought, and this is her protecting her son in the only capacity she can. She can't be around because he might get hurt because of her being around. But then it also, I look at the villain side of it, like she also might be a villain because his dad just suddenly has a stroke out of nowhere, and he's dying. And then to make her the power of attorney, if she had not always been present in an invisible manner, then she could have done something to the father. So yada, 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 to get Huey to come in. You tell me why she could be doing this. But I feel like she might be she might be able to become invisible, because when Huey went in that room and was about to give his father the V that he got from A-Train, and we're going to talk about A-Train in a couple of minutes too, when he was in that room alone, nobody saw him take the V out of his pocket, and he put it back in his pocket. Then his mama shows up in the room. So now mama is in the room, and then he lays the jacket down. Mama could have been there the entire time watching him, seeing what he was going to do, and she just did the job for him. Is that a potential? Is that a possibility? Let me know. I mean, I guess everything is a possibility, but let me know what you think about that in the comments. Also, how is she a psycho killer now? How is Victoria parenting her? But I mean, was she a psycho killer, or was she acting in self-defense? She may have thought that she was in some kind of danger, so she protected herself. I don't know if she's a psycho. I'm not ready to call her psycho yet. However, this is another thing that could be pointing to nature versus nurture, and we are going to see more of a juxtaposition between Ryan and Zoe. And I don't think I would mind that. I don't think I would mind that one bit. Huey's mom, Dreamwalker says, Huey's mom reminded me of the mom of the brothers in Life is Strange too. She also abandoned her kids and showed back up after their dad died. And I don't know how that game ends, but You don't get to do, you create more problems by doing something like that. That is really weird, that you've been gone for decades and now all of a sudden you show back up saying that dad has given you power of attorney to make decisions concerning his life. That doesn't make sense. So yeah. Dreamwalker also adds there's got to be something more about Huey's mom, but I can't say I've nailed down what it is. Justice says, not sure if she's a suit, but there is something suspect about her. I can agree with that. There's something suspect. Something ain't right. And she wouldn't know that Huey would fall in with the boys and become part of this whole CIA operation, whatever. She could not have known that when she left 20 years ago. She didn't know her son was going to get involved in these things. So that's why I lean towards she left to protect him, because that is a noble and honorable thing for a mother to do. You leave to protect, but she probably was never gone. She was there. BL 2024, teleportation, invisibility, pretty related. Also, Huey would never had powers like Ryan, because suits with superpowered kids from the jump are impossible. Yeah. That it had to have come from the V. Dreamwalker said, I would never take my jacket off so carelessly if I had a vial of V in it. But who would know what it was? The only people in my warped mind, the only people who really know what V is and what it looks like in the vial are people who have taken it, or people who have created it, had a hand in creating it. So the fact that if she saw him with that V and knew what it was, it tells me she either has taken it before or she has a hand in creating it. Dreamwalker said, I think she got power of attorney because the hospital couldn't contact Huey or something like that. But why her? There is no other family member. Look, okay, let's say this. Let's say I'm a deadbeat parent and I've been gone out of my son's life for 20 years. Over that 20 years, there are friends of the family who are closer to my son than I am. So why would I be the person to get to say, I'm going to pull the plug on your dad? It could have been anybody else, a neighbor, a friend of anybody else. But in his mama, and she just walks back in like she had not been gone. That's really weird. That it tells me either she recognized him right off the bat and she hadn't seen him, unless she saw pictures or whatever from the father, but she hadn't seen him in literal years, unless she had seen him in years because she had been present throughout his life in different ways. And then dad, now that he got the V, what the hell? What do we think is going to happen with him? Like, do we think that he is going to, of course he's going to become he's going to gain some kind of powers. So what do we think? And that's something I would really be interested in knowing. Is this something that happened in the comic books? Justin, if you're still with us, please let me know. Did his dad get the V in the comic books? Because look, I thought initially they got an actor like Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg is a big actor, and they're not using him very much. He's been used sparingly, but we had Will Ferrell in an episode. You know what I mean? So we've seen people just show up and do a cameo and then bounce. We've seen people who we expected to be around for a little while get unceremoniously killed very quickly in this series. But Simon Pegg is an interesting casting choice if you're not going to use him. So I got a strong feeling that the second half of this season and all of season 5, which we already know we're getting, despite all the whining from the people who did not understand that this is a satire, these people, I mean, Simon Pegg is probably going to play a bigger role in the next season and a half of The Boys. Oh, speculation that Wingrace has seen about Simon Pegg is that he'll be a super zombie. That would be weird, but I would like to see it. BL 2024 says, if your theory is right, there's parent kids powers scenario. Andre and his father, Gen V and Translucent, and his kid having the same powers. Victoria and Zoe, and Daphne and Huey, different powers. That is true. Because unless there's some other stuff that we just don't know about, unless there's something that we don't know about, again, with Victoria Newman, and then with Daphne, what are their last name? Campbell. Yeah, it could be. They hired Pegg because Huey in the comics is drawn to be Simon Pegg. No, that's interesting to know. So why did they not, or I guess they wouldn't cast Simon Pegg because he aged out. They probably should have made this series a while back, but instead they cast him as the father. I get it. I got it. That's good. Dreamwalker said, I've never read the comic books. How close are they to the show? Is it like Game of Thrones? Is it like Game of Thrones show versus a Song of Ice and Fire books? And that I don't know. I haven't read the comics, so I don't know either. That's why we usually have our expert in the chat, who is Justin, because Justin does read these comics, or he has read these comics. So it's very interesting. Simon Pegg was the muse for the Huey character, and now he's playing Huey's dad, and he's about to get some powers. Dreamwalker said, yeah, a big actor is either a cameo because they can't afford more screen time, or more likely in this case, a significant character. And you say Amazon's got enough money. So yeah, that's not an issue. Yeah, here's Justin. Justin said, there is something similar, but there is a lot that is different. So some things are on par. And I like when things that are inspired by comic books do that. Specifically, we can go back and talk about how if you weren't here for Tasha in X-Men 97, I was going crazy because my mind got to spinning with the titles, that you could see these titles coming, but they did just enough to make them different than what we had in the comic books. And that makes me happy, because one thing I don't want is to know exactly what's going to happen in a movie, a superhero movie. So yeah, that was one thing that I got very excited to see the changes that they make, so that nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. Soup Zombie is part of the comics. That's coming from BL 2024. I'm gonna have to do more. I'm gonna have to dig a little deeper next time we talk next week. I'll talk about the what I've learned about this zombie character, unless we've already seen it, unless we get a glimpse of it in the next episode. And I'm super excited for this next episode. Another thing that I really love about this is that I don't know the source material, and I don't get ahead of myself. Of course there are theories, but like I do with Star Trek, and like we did, with Doctor Who, I got so far ahead of myself, only to realize that the showrunner was making fun of people like me. So I don't want to race too far ahead. I like to have the theories. I like to have these conversations, but I don't want to get married to any theory, because anything can happen. And what they think of could probably, possibly, potentially be 100 times better than whatever I thought of. Justice says, don't want to spoil anything in case they use certain stuff. They have stuck to the main theme and other stuff, but some they went totally a new path on stuff. You know what? I'll leave it alone too. I won't say anything about things that I have heard that have not yet occurred in The Boys, the series, but did happen in the comic books, because some of that stuff, it looks like they have already shown that they're veering into a different direction, and I'm glad of it. Harvey Dent, 13. Hey there, Harvey Dent. Have you lived long enough to be the villain? He says, I don't want Firecracker to die. I mean, does she have to? I mean, eventually, yes, yeah, we know she's going. And Sister Sage set her ass up in this episode. All of that, the Starlight stuff, all of that happened exactly the way Sister Sage wanted it to. So Sister Sage is already, you say some little slick shit to her, and she is going to get you back. And the way she got Firecracker back was amazing. But it hinged on Starlight taking the bait, and she did. Sister Sage is playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers in The Boys. Justice said, like, Soldier Boy was totally different in the comics. The show made him a total badass. So he wasn't as quote quote badass in the comics as he is in the show. That's crazy. Even though he was still messed up. Oh yeah, he was messed up in the show, and I didn't know about the comics, but he was definitely messed up in the show. And I liked the little cameo in Gen V. I thought that was cool too. BL 2024. Honestly, I can't believe I'm dumb to not realize that Sage and Cracker won't get along when I know who Cracker is. And look, I'm still trying to put a finger, if we're going to talk about the culture wars, try to put a finger on who Sage is. Would she be Candace Owens, or would she be Omarosa, or who would she be in this scenario? Because neither one of them are like super intelligent. So who would she be? Harvey says, do you like that Butcher is trying to take the moral high road? I liked it better when he was like the devil on Huey's shoulder, and I want him to spiral darker. But I don't know if you were in here, Harvey, when we were talking about Butcher, because here's my theory, and I could be wrong, and part of me hopes I am. But what's going on with Butcher, in my opinion, is more like he's got like the Venom symbiote. And I even changed it and said it was more like Moon Knight. Like, one part of the Moon Knight avatar was a really good guy who just squeaky clean and never got into any trouble. And then on the other side, you got this guy who flips the fuck out and kills people and is able to do that. I think that's what we're seeing with Butcher. Maybe a combination of it being a symbiote and an alternate personality, where the dark part of Butcher's personality is all embodied in that other person. The one who pulled Ezekiel to pieces in that trailer, that would be the dark half of Butcher. Because we're also, I'm agreeing, we're seeing a softer side of Butcher, the side that cares about the mistakes that he's made in his past, which is a huge part of this season. Everybody is dealing with their past and demons from their past. But Butcher could very well potentially be a split personality. his good side is inhabiting the body that he's in every day. But when he blanks out and becomes that other guy, you probably want to get out the way. And a little tiny part of me thinks the other guy is the Jeffrey Dean Morgan character. Is the name Joe Steele? I forgot his name already. Joe Kessler. Kessler. That's what I think. Y'all let me know. I mean, Harvey, you let me know. Let me know what you think. Because I really and truly believe that there is a plot reason for everything that's happening in this series thus far. Justice says, in the comics, he was more of a coward and pardon the term, but just a loser. Oh, you're talking Soldier Boy. 4-4 kind of showed that with Butcher and Huey. I don't know what we're referring to. I'm sorry. I lost the plot there, BL 2024. Justice says, what I see so far this season, they're still headed to what happens in the comics, but they're just kind of doing it a different way. Whatever we're doing, keep on the same, keep on the same trajectory, because a lot of people are acting surprised at some of the stuff. Like this little change in Butcher that Harvey talks about. I can understand being not perturbed or disturbed by it because we're only halfway through the season, but I can understand it kind of standing out to him, because it is a departure from Butcher's character to be kind of soft, to have a softer side. But we also know that he's expecting to die any day now, within the next 6 months. So maybe, having to face your own mortality, you do behave differently. For instance, the older I get, the softer I get, because you're not promised tomorrow. You never know what tomorrow may bring, and you might not be part of tomorrow, so I can understand Butcher being a bit different this season, but I also believe that there's a possible plot reason for that thing as well. Justin, I read that one. BL 2024. When you said they were taking opposite roles, this season 4, yes, Huey and Butcher, yes, because I got a picture now. Where is it? Well, I did want to talk about that milkshake scene, because that was hilarious to me. How you gonna give this child a milkshake, and then when the kid don't act or say what you want them to say, you take the fucking milkshake back? Weird. So we'll talk more about them, Butcher and Huey, kind of switching places this season. We'll talk about it when I run into that picture that I was talking about. Kamiko and Frenchie has been a big part of the culture wars. And what people didn't like is that it seemed as though Frenchie and Kamiko were headed towards being in a relationship. And then last season, she told him that they were more like family, that it was weird kissing him, and that they were family. So this season, that's the direction that they're taking. Kamiko seems to be trying to push Frenchie into being happy. Just be happy. You're going to still be my brother, cousin, friend, lover, not lover. We don't know. Don't want to be a lover. She wants him to be happy without her, because she got other shit going on. Because have you noticed that we've been flashing back to her childhood and young things, the things that happened to her when she had been abducted and being trafficked. So all of these things are coming to the surface for her, and she's dealing with that. She doesn't have time right now to fall in love, to be in love. So she's like, yeah, she might get her some, for lack of a better term. She might go get her some, but basically I ain't got time for that, because she's got these other things going on. And people keep marginalizing the fact that this is not just any woman. This is a woman who knows that 99.9% of the time, if she dies, she's coming back. It's almost like the Vision, or no, I'm going Vision, and Vision is I will go character who can't die, and Vandal Savage. I know I'm reaching. Vandal Savage can't die. So when you form a relationship with somebody on the mortal plane, you know that you're going to outlive this person. And she might feel that way. And there will come a time, if she falls in love with them, that she will have to say goodbye. But her real thing is about this trafficking. That's where her mind is. Please, I hate that these people who are using her as an excuse to be upset that Frenchie is bisexual or pansexual, whatever he is, they are using her as an excuse when she is strong. She doesn't need, she's not walking around with her heart in her hand broken because her and Frenchie ain't fucking. You know what I mean? It's more or less Frenchie was the fragile one, and he's still the fragile one. Because when you go back to his past with the guy Colin, literally was messing around with this man, knowing that he killed his family. And we saw how that ended, with this last episode. But these are their ghosts from their past coming back to revisit them. And there is nothing that says that by the end of the season or the end of next season, if they're all still alive, that they won't be together. People want everything their way, and they want it their way right now. And I'm people, because I've done it in other franchises, but this franchise, I think it was spelled out pretty well that this is not going to happen. After last season, to me, it was I thought it was pretty well spelled out that this wasn't going to happen as far as a love thing, not this season. So anyway, Homelander is such a punk. And VL 2024, honestly, an absolute BS with Homelander and Ryan's relationship. Yes, because he don't know how to love, though. I think he really loves that boy, but he don't know how. Dreamwalker said, I think he just figured Ryan wasn't wanting the milkshake at the moment, and so he took it himself. I don't think he was trying to take it away. He took that milkshake from him because he said he wanted to hang around with Butcher. That is exactly what happened in that situation. Butcher, he was like, I know you've been with Butcher. I can smell him all over you, blah, blah, blah. He took that milkshake from that boy because he knew. No, it wasn't even that. I'm sorry. He took the milkshake from that child because the child was having a conscience about killing that man. That's what it was. Yeah, he treats Ryan bad, and I don't think he knows any better. I mean, you saw what he went through as a child. Now, it made a monster out of him. So do we really blame Homelander for who he is right now? They created that monster. They created him, but they also created the failsafe. They created a weakness in him. And that weakness can be exploited. And the exploitation could come in the form of his son. That if Butcher was able to get Ryan away from Homelander, that they could use his son to basically destroy him because of that failsafe, because of that switch that he has that he wishes he didn't. He's got that switch in his head, and he wants to he wants to be loved, and it means too much to him. Yeah. BL 2024 says, I don't know about anyone else, but I want to know more about Kamiko's past. I do too, because it looked like it was rough Her upbringing, again, we could go into nature and nurture. Her upbringing was horrible as well, as far as being trafficked the way she was and all of that. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And I do want to know more. I want to hear more about the brother. I want to know more about what her dynamic is with that other girl. And yeah, there's a lot of Kamiko to be explored without Frenchie. And there's a lot of Frenchie to be explored without Kamiko. Justice said, everything Homelander is doing and acting is just for himself, in my opinion. And I can agree with that because he doesn't know how to be anything but selfish. He basically grew up in survival mode, and the people who pretended to care about him only cared about him because they were afraid of him. And they thought they had him under some type of control so they could do little mischievous, evil things to that kid and expect for a decent human to turn out when you raised a monster. Kamiko is not immortal, just has a strong healing factor, kind of like Wolverine. Dreamwalker likes Kamiko. I like her too as a character. BL 2024 says, honestly, Ryan would be the 7th member of the boys. That would be awesome. I think it's coming. And look, this is just, again, all speculation. Y'all know I don't know anything. Nobody tell me nothing. I don't even get to see this stuff ahead of time because I don't have enough people that watches me. By the way, if you've not yet done so, please hit the like and the subscribe button on this video, wherever you're watching, so that people will maybe find this stream and watch it and say, hey, I like talking to this old lady, and I'll talk to her. Not giving Homelander a pass. This is Justin. I understand he was tortured and feel bad for him and understand why he is who he is, but no pass for him. Sorry, but he could be better. Sorry, he just gets me mad. Yeah, he's a diabolical son of a gun now, ain't he? And I completely understand. There is no right or wrong way to feel about these characters. For instance, even our heroes, even the people who are the quote unquote good guys, are flawed characters. Nobody is perfect. Nobody has all the answers except for Sister Sage. And even her, where she is like, she gets tired of having all the answers, and she eventually, or at some point, she wants to just dumb down. I get that. I get it. I get you too, BL 2024. I'm enjoying everybody's opinion about Homelander. Homelander is the most tragic character. Literally, every other characters in the verse had a chance to be human first. He did not. Exactly. And I mean, again, we're not gonna change nobody's mind, but we can all say that, hey, if there's anybody that probably has has an excuse for being the asshole that he is, it's Homelander. Now, does he have to take it to the extremes? No, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. And when you take a child and take away their power and treat them like less than, and then they realize that they're bigger and stronger and faster than you, then they might turn around and they may visit the same trauma on you that you visited on them. Doesn't make it right, but it does make it is logical. It's the next logical thing would be that they do this. BL 2024 said, I believe it's nearly impossible to have another character in the verse like Homelander. Yeah, Homelander is like, who? You can't have two Supermans. I mean, I guess you could have Apocalypse, Darkseid. You can have those characters, but What would another Homelander look like? I think again, Ryan is going to be another Homelander, but he's not going to be Homelander. He's going to kind of side on the side of good, whatever we're calling good. He's going to side on the side of good. And this conversation is so good, y'all. Hey, BL 2024, did you watch Gen V? If you didn't, I'm going to highly suggest that you do. And I got another stream coming. I got to do a Doctor Who stream today at 5, I think it was 5:30. And I'm gonna have to wrap this one in just maybe about 10 minutes. I'll have to wrap this one. So let's get let's get our final thoughts. Everybody, put your final thoughts about these first 4 episodes. Where you're going, what would you rate it? My rating system is 1 to 5. So if you want to go ahead on and put ratings in the chat, I'll accept that. So you watched it, BL 2024. So yeah, it makes me think of Sam. Now, I don't think Sam is as souped up as Homelander, but would he be able to toe-to-toe with him if he had to? Like a deep psychological level. Like on the stuff that Homelander, the shit that he had to deal with, he feels misunderstood because nobody else had to deal with it. But then we got Sam from Gen V, and I think he might understand Homelander a bit. So Homelander doesn't really have any skills since no one has ever matched his power. I can agree with that. They made Soldier Boy kind of like Homelander in many ways because that was his daddy, right? I think by on the side of good, you mean he has empathy. That makes more sense. Yeah, because good, like I said, good is a spectrum in this show. BL 2024 says 3 or 4. So that's your rating for the first 4 episodes. And he says Sam reminds him of Kamiko. I'm trying to. I understood you. I'm trying to figure out. Maybe you can expound on that. Dreamwalker says 4 out of 5, and Justin is he's just like, I love it so far. I think this season I would give it a 4 out of 5 too. 4.8 out of 5 for Justin. I think so far for me, 4 out of 5, and that's not a bad thing. I liked and didn't like the Vought on Ice. I thought that was a funny satirization of the whole Disney machine. I liked when this mirror cracked that each one of these Homelanders that we see is a different facet of his personality. And the major asshole of them all is the one that's in the top left corner. And the joy of him torturing the people who had wronged him in his mind. They wronged him in the past, and he had unmitigated joy in just effing them up. I honestly thought that the freaking cake was going to be all poisoned. Oh, you're right. Kidnapped in childhood, the killer maniac, their brothers being dead. You're right. They are they're very much alike. That's Newman, old crazy ass. And I'm trying to figure out still what's going on with her. And there's Starlight when she took Firecracker to pieces. And there's Huey. We said we're going to talk for a second about Huey and his dark turn, because when this scene happened and when he literally took a life, when he took a life in that manner, hand-to-hand combat, close up. When he did that, it looks like something woke up in him, and it's not something good. So yeah, I believe that he is becoming more and more like Butcher as the days go on. And as it was said in the chat earlier, Butcher is seeming more Huey-like. But then also we got to remember Huey also took the V, and we hadn't seen any real repercussions behind that, but this could be one. And A-Train has a conscience. Is that shocking or surprising to anyone? And A-Train is one of the characters that, to me, is a satirization of the liberal side of politics. You know, he has seen some horrible things as part of the Seven, and he has done some horrible things as part of the Seven. And people are like, wow, you should really appreciate that opportunity. And you've been given this opportunity, and you've been given, you give a person an opportunity, and they don't get to see what the other side of that opportunity looks like until they're in it. Now he's in it. Honestly, the sweet and innocent of Sam is a lot like Kamiko. Mm-hmm. Even though he flipped the switch at the end of the season. We'll see. Dreamwalker said, I think some of these people should have proactively apologized to Homelander so they're not sounding fake in the moment. Like, apologize to him 5 years ago before he went all the way crazy. Yeah. But they're not even looking at it like they did anything wrong to him. They're looking at it like, oh, we were just teasing him. Teasing and hazing probably are two different things. And he felt hazed. BL 2024 says Kamiko and Sam are second and third behind Homie because their humanity stolen from them the most. Mm-hmm. And it truly was. Shocking. That is a twist from the comics. Which twist? BL 2024. That was saying about the whole Butcher Huey switch thing, and that was you. Okay, in episode 4. A-Train was almost soulless in the comics. Oh, okay. But yeah, you can see that he has been kind of helping Huey along because of the guilt that he feels about killing his fiance, girlfriend, whoever she was in the first season. It's just we see that he really wants a relationship with his family, specifically the young ones, the nephew. It's just a lot of humanization being done to A-Train. And one of the conversations that my son and I did have about this is like, I fully don't expect it's either A-Train or Eminem or Mother's Milk. I feel like one of them is going to go this season, and I don't feel like Butcher is going nowhere. I think Butcher is going to be here next season. It's either MM or A-Train. I think we're probably going to say goodbye to one of them characters this season, and it's probably going to be A-Train because he's getting on the wrong side of Homelander. The Deep. I mean, the Deep is just like a comic relief side character, right? Until he's not, because he knows some things now. He knows about Sister Sage, and I mean, he knows a lot, wink, wink, about Sister Sage. So there's that. Yeah, I'm looking for more from the Deep. Okay, so also Sam was raised with his brother and his parents until he was like a tween. So he did have that nature versus nurture thing going, where he was nurtured a different way, and therefore he behaves a different way, despite the power. that he has. I just hope that he's not going to hang around with Homelander for too long, because Homelander is going to try to train that up out of him, and that's for real. Homelander is going to try to make Sam, because you see him coming. He's coming. Sam and the girl, I forgot her name, the one that the one that's kind of like rogue. They're coming. They're coming. And that's all I got, y'all, for this one. Boy, I enjoyed this conversation. Thank you all for being here with me this week. We're going to try to do this again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Join me here. Thanks for everybody in the chat who is usually here. Thanks for the new people for coming in. I appreciate your input. Some of the things that y'all got me to think about. And we'll talk again next week about what episode is it? Episode 5 of The Boys. And I don't have the doggone title. I just got the first 4. But we're going to discuss episode 5 of The Boys next week. So join me here. And I'm going to catch up last things before I leave, okay? Characters have a good chance of dying when they finish their redemption arc. And I do believe that A-Train has been doing his redeeming here. That's why I'm saying no one can be like Homelander psychologically. Yeah, because he has a unique upbringing, and it was terrible. Sam, second fave. The girl is Kate. Thank you for giving me that name. Great to see everybody. Always fun. Thank you. You say live long and prosper. We're going to have to come up with a term for the boys, right? But until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.